Perfect night. Young debuts, some buzz in the building, and a big fat loss to put in the hopper.
You know, what was interesting about last night, and I've been doing this a long time, going to that building for 18 years, is it felt just really good being in the building, feeling energy for our guys.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the opposition had a star player coming in and, the fans showing up to take pictures. No, it was our fans. Almost 18,000 in the building. A lot of them showing up early, got on Wizards uniforms, Wizards jerseys. They got their Trae Young #3 jerseys on, and they're taking pictures of him warming up. I just looked over at Drew, and I was like, man, this is different. This feels good. This reminds me of the good old days, and for him to come out and perform the way he did after missing 2 months really speaks to, I think, what Washington has in him. He's a showman. He understands that the bright lights, the moment, it's not just basketball, it's the entertainment part of it. Signing autographs, doing those little things. I thought he always ingratiated himself these past 2 months wearing the Ovi sweater, wearing different Wizards jerseys. And it's kind of like culminated last night watching him finally get on the floor.
When you saw him on the floor, did you allow yourself at all to – I know how you are, Chris. You're a professional. You focus on only what's happening now. But did anything creep in your mind about, did you see him lobbing the ball up to Anthony Davis?
Well, I envisioned that as soon as AD trade came through, the first thing I thought of was, my God, AD, Alex Sarr, Bilal, the list goes on and on of players that if you just roll to the rim, you're going to be rewarded. Or if you're like a Trey Johnson, if you get to the corner, expect that basketball to be there waiting for you. And what we saw last night was you better keep your hands up because the ball's coming to you. And you might want to keep your hands up if you're a fan, too, because one of those behind-the-back passes ended up in, like, the fifth row. But that's all about Trey just putting on a show and just trying to get out there and get more comfortable and acclimated to his new surroundings.
What do you think is the worst rap that Trey suffers from the casual NBA fan?
That's a great question. I think his size, the NBA now, your guards are like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". And I think he can't control that, right, Zabe? There's nothing you can do about that.
Right.
But what he can do is be one of the best scorers and facilitators we've seen in this league all time. His numbers, you just have to look them up. What he's able to do on the floor, on the offensive end, is a needle mover. Now, defensively, I don't think he's going to get better. I mean, I think that the guys around him can make it a better team defense. And when you've got two shot blockers like Sarr and AD, you might be able to allow your guy to get past you because there's going to be help at the rim. Not just one guy, but two. Bilal is an exceptional on-ball defender. So there are guys that are going to be around him from a defensive standpoint that can cover that up. But you can't cover up what he does offensively. He is a needle mover. And you saw that last night, 19 minutes. And real quick, I want to give Brian Keefe a lot of credit for keeping him in that restricted time allotment of 17 to 20 minutes. And I thought BK used him perfectly last night.
Who you think benefits the most with a Trae Young on the court?
I think all the young players. There's not one specific one, D, because of all the things he's able to do on the floor. We talked about the lob threat. We talked about him passing the three-point shooters. So I think all these young players, he's going to supplement their games. And the beauty of how this team has been built, and a lot of credit to the front office of doing this the last 2.5 years, of putting these young players around this organization is they all can bring something to the table. They're all multifaceted. It's not, well, this guy only does one thing or this guy does that. They all, I think, can play with Trae Young, can play with an Anthony Davis, can play with a potential top pick, in June. So the versatility of the roster, I think, is what's going to make this kind of seamless with AD and Trae. And listen, again, these young kids essentially told Michael Winger and Will Dawkins what to do. Their development has gotten to a certain level where the organization can now go, okay, we can supplement the young players by going and getting two guys that have a combined 14 All-Star appearances. You just don't get these guys, right?
Yeah.
You just don't get a Trae Young or an Anthony Davis.
Okay.
So they wouldn't trade it for them to put them next to these young players moving forward.
Which was going to be my next question. If assuming Trae Young's going to be great for us, and we hope that's the case, and somebody goes to the Atlanta Hawks in theory and says, "Well, why'd you get rid of this guy?" What would their answer be?
Well, I think it just ran its course in Atlanta. I think that happens a lot with a lot of players. Is just 8 years there, one conference final. Okay, they're ready to move on. Clearly, they have a player down there in Jalen Johnson that's ready to ascend. They went and got Jonathan Kuminga, and people in Atlanta are like, "Thanks, Golden State, for just essentially giving us Kuminga." So teams are on different timelines, and I think that would be the timeline for what Trae was down to Atlanta. But there's a new opportunity here, and he feels this is a really good place to be at because of the way he's ingratiated himself not only to the franchise but to the community already.
So the short answer would be he fell out of the Hawks' timeline, but the timeline for him here might be just right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You said it dead on the head, Zabe.
All right.
So when I look at Trae, you can see he's basically bought in.
Oh, he's thrilled to be here.
I feel like he's 1,000%.
I know he's bought in. I'm saying, when do we start to feel the same thing by AD? Because we don't see him or hear nothing from him.
Well, interestingly enough, he was at the game last night.
Okay.
So he's here. I haven't talked to AD. I don't know. I read the same stuff you get. You know me, B. I'm the type of person, I'll go up to you and ask you. I don't need to read anything or hear the scuttlebutt. I'll walk up to you and be like, "What's good?" So I have not had that opportunity yet. But the same thing I would say for AD is, listen, you're 32 years old. You have a Hall of Fame. Listen, he should be fitted already for his Hall of Fame jacket. And I know a lot of people, obviously he's been injured. Yeah. But what I would say to people that talk about Anthony Davis is, will you just go look at his resume? Just go look at what he has done during his career already.
Yeah.
And it will show you that this guy, still at 32, has a lot left into the tank, and I think he offers something that Washington might not have had a lot of. I had this discussion with David Aldridge and a couple of friends of mine yesterday about there are 3 guys that have come to Washington since Michael Jordan, that was not drafted here, but came here and put that uniform on. There are 3 guys. Now, AD hasn't played yet, but he is in the company of Paul Pierce, Russell Westbrook. All 3 of those guys are Hall of Famers. And if you look at all 3 of their resumes, they're essentially the same. So what Washington is getting at Anthony Davis is a Hall of Fame player, still 32, still in the prime. You match him up now with Trae Young and what I think are very good young prospects. Yeah. Keyshawn George has taken a major step. I think Bilal Coulibaly, offensively, when he is aggressive, he's a different type of player. You know what he does on the defensive end. Trey Johnson is an absolute shooter. And then when you think of this kid, Will Riley, who, to me, he might be the one. And he is a baby. He's 6'10", that can handle the basketball. Now you're seeing what Will Dawkins and Michael Winger and the front office was thinking about when they put this roster together.
Yeah. Michael Scotto from Hoops Hype yesterday tweeted, Wizards star Anthony Davis will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. He's out with ligament damage in his left hand. Continues to progress as expected. Has been cleared to begin individual, limited on-court basketball activities. I saw the play, Chris, that he got hurt on, and I'll be honest, I'm like, that jacked up his hand? I'm not saying it's not legit. It just raises the fears of, is this guy fragile, you know?
Well, listen, his career has been injury-prone, right?
Correct.
But again, I look at 10-time All-Star, NBA champion,
right,
3-time blocks champion, one of 75 greatest, 5-time All-NBA, and a career numbers of 24, 11 rebounds, and almost 2.5 blocks.
I am happy it's a wrist, not anything with his knee or Achilles or anything like that. That's the engine. You know, this is a fixable thing. Yeah. It's just I kept looking at the play where he got hurt. I was like, I don't see it. But you know, it's a physical game.
Freak accident
can happen. Yeah, it's kind of a freak accident. So yeah, so we'll see if he play. Would you be willing to bet that he plays for the Wiz before the season's over?
With him, I'm thinking about next year.
Okay.
I mean, whatever it takes.
No, I know we're all
You and I
next
think
year.
exactly the same.
Look, I know how we're all thinking. Would you bet that he plays this year?
No.
So it's a no from BMitch. Will Miller go on record?
I want to go probably. I can't give you a percentage on that, but my mindset, again, I'm not speaking for anybody in the organization. This is Chris Miller talking. I'm looking forward to seeing him at training camp next year, ready to rock.
All right. Last night, once again, the city editions. I'm on lockervision.nba.com, which I'm sure you know, Miller, but it's the very useful site that lays out a team's upcoming games and shows what uniforms they're wearing for that game and also what uniforms the opponent is wearing. There's the Association Edition, BMitch, the Icon Edition, the Statement Edition, and the City Edition, which is the gold and black they wore last night.
Which one you want me to see what they're going to wear?
Well, I'm just saying, give me your thoughts on the gold and black from last night.
I like it because it's totally different.
Miller, you like those alts last night?
It kind of reminds me of back in the day when Gilbert, Antoine, and Karan and B. Wood and those guys used to rock it. So, yeah, I like it. Yeah. That's when I first got here, when I first got to town when they were wearing those jerseys. So it's kind of a ode to, a homage to those teams. So I like them.
Yeah. Cakes was gushing to me at his poker tournament about the good old days of Gilbert. And I said, it's unfortunate.
But I will say this,
what happened
my
with
favorite
Gilbert.
jerseys are the Cherry Blossom ones. Those Cherry Blossom ones, please bring those back, whatever it takes.
Yeah. I got routed through the Tidal Basin on the way here today, and I saw him doing a lot of work, and I was like, oh, that's right. Here comes the rush. Have we got a cherry blossom countdown yet to what is going to be peak? Because we're a couple weeks away now.
I heard the date yesterday, but forgot it.
Good work.
Yeah.
Walker, Vic, you got a bead on the madness that is cherry blossoms. For a quick hot second, I said, I should take the family down there. And then I reconsidered, knowing what a madhouse it is.
Just whoever comes to see the cherry blossom, don't stop in the road or park in the road. Get on the sidewalk.
Amen.
Hell.
Amen.
Cause a damn accident because you're going to just decide to stop your car and get out.
Nah,
bro.
All right, Mr. Miller, pleasure. Next up is the Pelicans Sunday night down in New Orleans, right?
Absolutely. By the way, shout out to Juju Reese last night putting on a rebounding clinic. When your name is mentioned with Rulin, Jameson, Malone, and Elvin and Wes, you clearly did something last night. So a tip of the hat, young fella.
Way to go, Juju.
Hey, rebounding is in that family's bloodline. You know, between him and his sister. Sure.
Indeed.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Miller.
All right, brother.
Great talking to you guys. Have a great weekend.
All right.